Hi guys, and welcome to Game Day preview with myself. And what a special guest we have today.
Yes.
Robbie himself hasn't come completely neutral, but we'll get into that. Biggest game of the weekend is, of course, the Manchester derby.
Hey, hold on. The biggest game of the weekend is here at Watford. Arsenal coming to play Watford. I've got my gear on, you know what I mean, all ready for it. No, you're right. The Manchester derby, that's a huge game.
Like I said, there's nothing about being neutral over here. But Robbie is going to be catching up with someone, aren't you?
Yeah, later on I'm going to be catching up with Andy Tate, massive Man United fan, as you all know, getting his opinion on the Manchester derby. Massive game for both teams. Big for Man City, because, you know, they can't afford to slip up, and big for Man United. They can't afford to slip up as well in that race for the top four, so it's going to be interesting talking to him.
We are here at Watford, but we're going to start actually with Leicester taking on Leeds this weekend. Leeds are unbeaten in their last 5 away league games against Leicester. They did win that exact same fixture 3-1 last season. Obviously, things have very much changed. We actually both
No Bielsa now.
No Bielsa now.
It's going to be weird, isn't it?
It is weird. I have to say, it's not something I didn't see that it wasn't going to come. I think that they could only really hold out for so long.
Yeah, I mean, your guys absolutely destroyed them last week, and it was no surprise to me. They're too wide open, and it's going to be interesting to see, is it Marsh, this new manager? Jesse Marsh, is he going to set them up a bit more defensively, you know? If not, you know, I think they're in real trouble of getting relegated. They really are.
They are one of those teams that could have got sucked in. It was, you know, you're looking at it and thinking, would they have enough, you know, to keep out? They've had so many injuries, Leeds.
Yeah, they have been unfortunate. They have been unfortunate with injuries, but I don't know, man. I mean, they brought in this guy. He's not exactly, you know, looking at what they say about him. He's been at, you know, RB Leipzig and Salzburg, but he's another very attacking manager, they say. Yeah. Is that what they need right now? They need a manager who's going to sort of, I think Leeds just need a couple of clean sheets and a couple of, you know,
a bit of stability.
Yeah,
I'd say with Leeds that the problem has actually been the whole season. I remember that opening game that we did on DR Sports against United.
Yeah.
And Leeds, you could see they were so open and they love to stick to that philosophy, but it also comes to their detriment at the same time because they've got nothing, no plan B really to kind of shore it up. And maybe the injuries have taken a part of that, but from what I'd seen from Bielsa, it was like he was never looking to have a defensive plan B.
I think this guy's got a big task, and not only that, you know, the fans love Bielsa. You know, they've most Leeds fans that I've heard from, they're very upset that Bielsa got sacked, even though they were in the predicament they're in. So I hope they stay up, because I like going to Leeds. I think they've got a great fan base, and you know, they're a club that should be in the Premier League. Oh,
and it took them so long to get back.
Yeah, they could get sucked in.
They could get sucked in. On the other hand, Leicester, for me, aren't having a particularly good season either, when, you know, we've given them so many accolades over the last couple of seasons, thinking how well they've done.
Vardy's back though. Vardy's back. He scored during the week.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Big win against Burnley. I think, and you know what, even the other day when they lost to Wolves, I thought they played all right in that game. I thought they were very unlucky to lose that game. The Wolves were very clinical. So, I don't know. It's at Leicester.
It is at Leicester. But Leicester have had a drop off this season, though, I would say.
We're
not talking about them being in a race for a top 4. You know, and they've been very consistent in that, you know, top 3, top 4. But I'm just concerned as to where that has gone wrong. Is it a bit of staleness creeping in?
Yeah, and listen, I think as well, another team, you know, we talk about Leeds injuries. Leicester have had a lot of injuries as well. I mean, Vardy's been out for ages, you know what I mean? Their defence has been awful this season. That's what's cost them. Their defence has been all over the place, and they've had a lot of injuries there. Johnny Evans, there was
Justin,
Fofana, Justin, I think he's just come back as well. So they've had a lot of injuries as well. But I fancy Leicester in this game. I really do.
Prediction?
I'm going to go Leicester 2-1.
Yeah, I think I might actually match that and go with the same. Right, moving on to Aston Villa, who take on Southampton. Southampton with that great win in the FA Cup this week.
Flying, aren't they?
They really are. Ralph Hasenhüttl, he really just turns things on the head. Sometimes you look at them and you think, God, they're really quite poor, Southampton, and then all of a sudden they get this little kind of run of games together and they look quite good. Aston Villa are winless though in their last 6 home league games against Southampton. They've drawn 2 and lost 4. They've lost 3 in a row and conceded 11 in that process.
It's a really close game because Villa, with the players they've got now, they've got a really, really good squad, but then, you know, they can slip up. I mean, these guys beat them the other day, Watford.
Yeah.
You know.
And Burnley the week before that.
Yeah, so, but they got a good win last week. But Southampton have been flying. They've been playing some really good football. They're confident. That was a really good, impressive win against West Ham during the week. You know what? It wouldn't shock me Southampton go there and get another win. Although they did play during the week, he rested a lot of players, Arsenal. He was smart. He changed about 8 players. I'm going to go Southampton.
You're going to go Southampton?
I'm going for a Southampton win, yeah.
Okay. Prediction?
2-1.
2-1. Okay.
2-1.
I think this could be, what would it be? Villa losing. I think this would be 3 in a row, wouldn't it? Potentially.
No, they won. I think they won last week, didn't they? They won last week.
Did they beat Brighton?
Yeah, they beat Brighton. They beat Brighton 2-0.
Oh yeah, I think I backed Brighton to not do that.
The 2 before that is what.
That was it. So, okay, I mean, I'm going to back Villa at home. I think Steven Gerrard, I think he's a great manager. I think they've got a great team. So I'm going to go with I think it's be close. I'll go 3-2.
3-2.
I'll go 3-2 on that. All right, Burnley taking on Chelsea. Quite a strange week.
Chelsea,
to be honest with you.
The fall of the Roman Empire.
The fall of the Roman Empire.
Save the bridge.
Yeah,
hopefully, Chelsea.
You know what? I want the bridge to burn down.
I sent that out to a couple of my Chelsea mates, and I'll tell you, they were giving me so much stick. It's going to be weird for Chelsea. I mean, no Rome. Well, he hasn't left yet. He's selling the club, so he's still there. He's still got all the same players. But psychologically, surely that's going to start having a bit of an effect on the whole everything around Chelsea. The fact that Roman Abramovich is in the future no longer going to be there. It's going to be. It's going to be strange for.
And to be fair, we go back to where Chelsea were before Roman Abramovich.
Yeah. No, listen. I don't think there's an owner in football that's done more for their club than Roman Abramovich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not just the money he spent. He's always at the games. He absolutely loves that club. I think it's a real wrench probably for him to have to be selling the club. It's understandable with all what's going on in the world right now, but. Yeah, I think this is going to be a big test for Chelsea.
It is, because Burnley have been on such a good run lately. I mean, obviously, they beat Spurs, they beat Brighton, and however, they've only won just one of their 15 games against Chelsea. Yeah. So, with that in mind,
they did though lose during the week. Chelsea's I think I've got to go Chelsea.
Well, I would say with Chelsea, even though everything that's going on, they lost the cup. The Carabao Cup last weekend. They won and beat Luton 3-2 in the FA Cup, which again was it was quite an interesting test for them.
They came from 2-1 down.
Yep.
Came from behind twice in that game, but I think Chelsea will have enough to win that game. I think Burnley, even though there's been a bit of revival with Burnley recently, I can't see them beating Chelsea.
What's your scoreline?
2-0 Chelsea.
2-0 Chelsea. Okay, I'm going to go a bit more controversial on this one. Purely just because I don't like Chelsea, obviously. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Burnley win.
2-1?
I'm going to go with a 2-1 Burnley win.
Oh, I don't know,
Meanwhile, Burnley fans always tell me that I never back Burnley, so there we go, I'm backing you. But also for the fact that...
You're backing them when you know they're going to lose.
Chelsea aren't that too far ahead from United, from Arsenal.
Yeah.
So they really would have to have one eye on what's going on behind them at this point.
Yeah, I think they're going to be all right for that 3rd place. Remember they still got they're still in the Champions League as well, so they've still got a lot to play for. But I can't see Burnley beating Chelsea.
Watch this space. Let's see what happens. Newcastle United taking on Brighton. Newcastle have never won in 9 Premier League meetings with Brighton. They've drawn 5 and lost 4, more often than they've faced any other side. So that tells you everything you need to know about this game. It's actually quite a good one to watch. Newcastle, they've had their own resurgence, really, since...
They're on fire.
The Saudis have come and taken them over. They had a great transfer window. They've lost Kieran Trippier to that long-term injury.
And he was doing great.
But the confidence still seems to be there for Newcastle, doesn't it?
Yeah, and big up Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't see him getting enough credit for their revival. You know what I mean? He's gone in there, he's turned it around, he's got them playing a different style of football. And even with Trippier out last week, they still got the win. And I think they'll get, I see that stat you're saying they've never beaten Brighton, but I think that's going to turn around this week. Going to St James's Park right now with all their fans buzzing,
place to go.
knowing that money's coming in, and it's great times for a Newcastle. You think of it, if you're a Newcastle fan, hearing that news about Abramovich as well, that all his money's going to be out of the picture now. They could be the new kings on the block in the future when it comes to spending. But Newcastle win for me.
Okay. Brighton, though, have been...
2-1 Newcastle.
Brighton have been having a decent season. They're quite high up in the table as to where you usually put Brighton.
But recently they've been a bit off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Newcastle.
Okay. What was your score prediction again?
I can't see him keeping a clean sheet. 2-1.
All right, I'll go 2-0 just because I like to be different on that one.
2-0 Newcastle.
I'm going to go 2-0 Newcastle. Norwich taking on Brentford. Now Norwich earned their
6-pointer.
That's a really, really big game. Norwich earned their first Premier League win of the season in the reverse fixture back in November. They want to do the double. It's to be the first time they've done it since 1959 to 1960. It is really the battle of the bottom, isn't it?
Yep, it is. I think Norwich are gone. I don't think there's any chance of them surviving. But
I think
I'll tell you
we've
what,
written Norwich off before they kicked a ball.
Yeah, I think, you know what, the funny thing is, I'm going to say, I think Norwich are going to win this game, but I still think that they're going to probably end up going down. They've just left themselves too much to do. But Brentford are in big, big trouble. I think if they don't win this game, I'm going to, I think they might go. They don't have games in. All the teams below them have loads of games in hand over them. And they're in free fall. They haven't won for about, I think their last 7-8 games, they ain't won. They've lost about 7 of them. They're on horrendous form.
It's a bit of a shame because we were bigging up Brentford so much. You know, the start of the season, they were a bit of the Premier League darlings, weren't they? We were loving the way they were playing
How many
football.
times do we see that, Abby, right? That at the start of the season, when there's not that pressure.
Yeah.
So, I think Brentford came into the season, nothing to lose. Yeah. I remember we played them first game of the season. They were on it. Yeah. Nothing to lose. All of a sudden, when they played us the other day now, a lot to lose. They need something, even a point. It's a different pressure. And I don't know what's happened to Brentford. You know what I mean? Obviously, they've had a couple of injuries, like vital guys like Ivan Toney have been out and stuff like that. But I'm worried for them. I wouldn't really want to see them go down because I love the story of how they've come through the divisions. I like their manager and that. But I honestly, I think if they don't beat Norwich this weekend, they now become my favourites to go down with, I don't want to say it too loud, but maybe Watford.
Whisper it.
Watford, right? And also, I think, Norwich and Brentford. I think they have to, this is a must-win game for Brentford, must win.
I do agree with you. Okay, what's your prediction then?
I don't think they're going to win it. I think Norwich, even though they've been a bit up and down, but at home, I fancy them. I think they'll be decent. They put in a good performance at Anfield in the FA Cup. 2-0 Norwich.
Wow, 2-0 Norwich. Okay. I'm going to give it to Brentford. And it's being biased. I'm just going to purely do it for Christian. I'm going to do it for Christian Eriksen. What can I do?
That's true.
I'm hopeful that he's going to start to be a difference maker. Maybe we're putting too much on his shoulders.
It's great to see him back playing.
Oh, so good.
Great to see him back playing, and how good is the modern technology
that can allow him to do that.
But
all right, I'm going to go 2-1 Brentford. I'm just hoping that Eriksen's going to get involved, and I'm just happy to see him back. Wolves taking on Crystal Palace. Wolves have lost their last 2 league games against Palace. Both have been away from home though. Never lost 3 in a row against the Eagles in their history. Actually, this is a great stat. Only Manchester City have conceded fewer goals than Wolves in the Premier League in the first half.
Wolves have been doing brilliantly. They've had a lot of setbacks though recently.
They've dropped off a little bit.
Dropped a few points. I thought they were really disappointing against West Ham. I thought the manager, who I've been praising a lot, it's a very tight game against Arsenal. Arsenal just managed to beat them in injury time. why did he then go to West Ham and rest loads of players? I didn't get it. What, has he got a Champions League game on or something? You know what I mean? I honestly, why is it sometimes managers start to, you know, you start to praise them and they start to do weird things? Or why was he rested? He rested like Jimenez, he rested Podence, all these guys. I mean, then by the time he brought them on, it was too late.
It was too late.
It was ridiculous.
I think it can only be just to do with rotation. You see managers
rotation for what?
Well, just resting players. They had quite a few games in a matter of a week.
Well, did they have a training game on a Tuesday or something? You know what I mean? They didn't even have a FA Cup game set for that weekend. I know they played Arsenal on the Thursday, but for me, I thought that was a stupid decision by him, and it cost them. They really need to win that game. Palace are a decent side. Palace on any given day, they turn up.
Yeah.
You know, they came here to Watford, they won 4-1. I think we might see a shock in that game, and I'm going to go for a shock. I'm going for a Palace.
If Wolves lose that one, are we kind of ruling them out of sneaking into a European place?
I still think, you know, I think if they lose the game, they start to say that they've got big trouble of even getting into Europa League places. But still a long way to go. But I just got a sneaky feeling for Palace this weekend.
Okay, scoreline please?
2-1 Palace.
Okay, I'm going to back Wolves on this one. I think at home, I think they've been fantastic for the most part.
They have been, to be
so
fair.
I will go with a, what did you say, 2-what?
2-1 Palace.
I'll go 2-0.
Okay.
I like to make it different, I told you. Liverpool taking on West Ham. Another really interesting game in terms of top four.
Liverpool win that.
Where, hopefully so, for both of us. But Liverpool have lost just only one of their last 48 home league games against West Ham. That's such a good stat. I love that.
And they're on fire.
They are.
And they were good in the final. Both teams were good. Them and Chelsea, but they were good. They won that. They're buzzing from winning that. They won in the FA Cup during the week in a much changed team. I can't see nothing apart from a Liverpool win. West Ham as well have been a bit
hit and miss lately.
Been a bit hit and miss recently as well. Very disappointing in the FA Cup during the week. In a competition, I thought, you know, West Ham, go for that. That's something that you can, bit of silverware, you know what I mean?
Achievable.
Yeah, Liverpool.
Okay. In terms of West Ham, where do you think they may finish?
I think West Ham, I don't think they'll get top four, but I think they could still get into the Europa League places, but it's going to be difficult. Their squad's going to let them down, I think.
Yeah, I think
they haven't got a good enough squad.
That's kind of what we've always said the whole way along, that when it gets to the nitty-gritty of the season, are West Ham going to have enough to compete on a European level with the Europa League? Because I think that's where their attention will naturally go to, more so than trying to, you know, get a top four place. Okay, scoreline please.
Scoreline 3-0 to Liverpool.
Okay, I'll go 3-1 on that one. I was going to be rude and go 4, but I won't. I'll be nice. Right to here, actually. So Watford taking on Arsenal. Yeah,
we'll be sat just over there somewhere.
In that away
roaring
section.
On the boys.
Come on, Watford.
It's a tough. Okay, right, you know, it's a tough game. Listen, you know what? Even though Watford are right down near the bottom, it's always a difficult place for us to come to. They're always up for it. The place will be packed, but I fancy us this weekend. We in them sort of games where we've had a lot of problems in the past, like Wolves away. You know, it's been a very difficult place for us to go to and get a result. We got a result. I feel we'll get a result here this week. We have to.
I mean, they've taken 7 points out of 45 against you guys. However, 4 of these points have actually come in the last 3 home games they've faced against you. So
we didn't play them last year. Obviously, they weren't up, but and when we played them at home, it was only a 1-0 win, and it was a very difficult game. Last week against Manchester United, they got a great point. They beat Man United here. Remember when Ollie got the sack? So they're a team that they can turn up on the day.
They've got talent.
They've got
Dennis.
but I think their defence and midfield ain't great. I think with Arsenal, we've got to start fast. If we start fast, if we get an early goal, then the fans might be a bit different, because they know they're looking like they could go. And they really need to get something out of this game. But I really do fancy Arsenal this week. I really do.
If Arsenal win, you can go 4th. Is it yours to lose?
I keep looking at it and saying that I still think United are the favourites for that top 4 position. I wouldn't even say your guys with Tottenham. You're inconsistent. Arsenal, we know what we can be like as well. We can be inconsistent as well. But I just think the United, they've just got that extra quality up front that will get them the goals. But honestly, if things, say things went to plan as an Arsenal fan this weekend, which would be United not getting anything out of City, you know, we could be in 4th place with like 3 games in hand over them.
Those 3 games in hand, though, are
I know Tottenham,
Chelsea, and Liverpool.
But
look, stranger things have happened.
You know, I mean, you know, stranger things have happened, and if you know, those are 3 cup finals.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. Prediction then, scoreline.
I'm gonna go 2-0 to Arsenal.
Okay. See, I really want to be realistic, but.
Be real.
All right. If I'm real, I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal on this one.
Take that.
But I'd rather it be 3-1 Watford.
I know you would.
Okay, Manchester derby. I know you're going to be catching up with Andy Tate in a little while, aren't you? So we'll just have a quick natter on it. City are looking to complete the league double over United for the 2nd time under Pep Guardiola. Only the 2nd time, actually, having previously done it in 2018-19. Manchester City, I have to say, have not looked that convincing of late. I mean, firstly, you get done by Spurs. I mean, how that even happens, I don't know. And then obviously they did struggle against Everton. That very controversial.
It should have been a draw. You know, the referee's since come out and said, "Oh, sorry, Everton, it was a mistake." If they go down, well, thank you very much. But they weren't great against Everton. Everton were really intense, and Man United got a great record against City.
They really do.
They're the one team that go there, and do you know what I think it is with City? The Tottenham game, it didn't shock me that Tottenham won that. Believe it or not, because Tottenham are suited to the counter attack, and so are Man United. Man United play better when teams attack them and they can counter, and that game is not a foregone conclusion. I do think City are going to win this time round because I think they have to, but it's going to be a tight game. I feel I could see that being like 1-0 or
I think it's a really
2-1.
close game.
It's a really close game.
I mean, United, this could be a record of 4 consecutive away games against City winning.
That'd be unbelievable.
And despite how much we say about Manchester United and about how they're not having a great season, I mean, they're unbeaten in 8 games. So has Ralph actually come in and done a bit of a job? They've got quality players. That's
the thing about, he hasn't done a great job, no, because, you know, a lot of them teams.
Has he done a job from where they were at?
He's steadied it, but with some of the teams they played in that run, they should have done better. And I don't think the style of football, but he steadied it. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? It's still, when he came in, the aim was get top 4, and they can still get top 4, and it's the favourites of the top 4. But I wouldn't say he's done a great job. It's still the football ain't great and stuff like that. But they've got quality players, and that's the difference. And that's why I think they got a good chance of getting the top 4. And that's why they could beat City this weekend. They could beat them, you know what I mean?
That'll be an interesting one. What was your prediction?
I think City I think City are just gonna get over the line. 2-1 City.
I'm going to go 2-2.
Please,
in this game. I think there'll be goals.
2-2.
Yeah, well, I don't think.
But you know, it's a great shout as well, Abbi.
I don't think United can defend that well, and I just think that City being at home, I just don't think they're gonna suffer another defeat. I really don't.
Do you know what, Abbi? I caught up with the legend himself, Andy Tate, and asked him what did he think was going to happen in the game. Big game at the weekend. Man United versus Man City at the Etihad. Do you know what though? You guys got a decent record against them at the Etihad.
Yeah, we have, but say form counts for nothing when it's derby day, innit? And form goes out the window. And we're going into the Lions' den. We're not Kings of Manchester anymore, and it's really hurtful to see.
It's a tough game, but can you take heart from the fact that the other day, and this is what I'm thinking about that game, the other day Tottenham went there, they got a great result, and I kind of look at Man United and you play well in a similar way when teams come onto you and you can counter-attack them, and that's how you've managed to get a result there over the past couple of seasons.
Yeah, but it's when the back's against the wall they can turn up, but if you can't beat Watford, you can't beat Aston Villa, you can't beat Southampton, Burnley. That's why we're in the position where we are now, and it's angry. I'm angry with them, and I say players not taking responsibility. The way we just ran away at Old Trafford this season when we lost 2-0, players not even standing up and be counted. So it's going to be an interesting game, and I just hope the players take note, because if, like I say, if they roll over and die, and they try to run away, there's going to be nowhere for them to hide.
This game is the type of game that's made for Cristiano Ronaldo, isn't it? This is the sort of game what you bought them big guys for.
Of course it is. Big game players, big games, you need it. It's like Harry Kane, he scored in last minute. Big game players, it suits the position, suits United. But even if they were to get a win, I'll be happy. Of course I'd be happy. And they get something. But they're cheating themselves. They're cheating the fans. They're cheating. Like, you see, where was that? If they do a performance, that's brilliant. Where's that been all season?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because the last season, we beat them 2-0. All right, it was empty stadiums at the time, but you say, where's that been? Where's that been? And you say, you can't beat them other teams, but where's that? And you think it's all right to turn up for one game. Now, if you turn up and we lose, I can still hold my head high. All United fans can. And that's brilliant, lads. That's what we lost. But fuck it, you give it your all, lads. That's fantastic.
So that's the legend himself, Andy Tate. Big game this weekend, can't wait for it.
So excited. We are obviously going to be doing that watch along on DR Sports on Sunday at 4:30 as well, aren't we?
Looking forward to it.
Very much so. Okay, so last but not least, Spurs taking on Everton on Monday.
Bye.
Spurs have lost just one of their last 18 Premier League games against Everton. That did come in this fixture last season, though. It's Conte versus Lampard. That's a nice little mix-up for those two. Out of both, who do you think needs the result more?
Wow, that's a great question. They both do. I think Everton, because, if Everton lose that game now, it's starting to, they're right on the drop zone.
They really are.
They're in serious trouble, and I thought they were so harshly dealt with last week in that game against Man City. The most obvious handball you're ever going to see. I can't see them going to Tottenham and getting a win. I can't see it, man. Tottenham at home are strong.
I had to laugh, I'm sorry.
Well, you haven't lost a lot of games there, though.
I mean, Spurs, we lose all the time, Rob. Spurs at
Mind
home.
you, yeah, Wolves beat you there, innit? But they're not as good as Wolves, Everton. They're not as defensively sound.
I'll take the compliment, but misguided one.
No, I think Tottenham will win the game. I think, yeah, Tottenham.
Well, I'm hopeful.
And Tottenham are inconsistent.
Hopeful.
1 week, you beat Man City, then you lose to
Burnley. I'll tell you what, if you are truly a
beat
Spurs fan, and anyone watching this is a Spurs fan, you will know that we knew that was going to happen. We knew you'd go and get a result at City, because actually we've got a really good record against Manchester City anyway. And we knew we'd have that Burnley game midweek, and we knew we wouldn't win that. And you knew we'd go to Leeds, we'd get a result because it's Leeds and everyone beats Leeds currently. And then you knew you wouldn't get a result against Borough.
So based off of that, that's why I'm going for Tottenham, because you win one, you lose one. You win one, you lose one, right? So I'll go for a win. Tottenham win. I don't want them to win. It could also be a draw, but I don't know, man. Everton, they're just not defensively. Despite, I thought they were brilliant last week, but that's at Goodison.
Yeah.
If that game was at Goodison, I'd fancy Everton, but it's not at Goodison. They don't travel to London well, Everton.
No.
Nah.
I always think Everton are the Spurs of the North.
Unfortunately,
anyway,
a Tottenham win. I mean, need Everton to do us a favour, but unfortunately, I can't see.
I'd quite like it if Spurs would do me a favour for once. That would be really nice.
What, stop playing for the rest of the season?
Yeah, if they could. I much preferred it when we had no football for 3 months. Okay, so I will go with a 2-1 Spurs win on that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to back you on that. I think, I can't see Everton. Could they nick a draw?
Highly possible.
Nah.
Go with your gut.
It's going to be a Tottenham win.
Let's
2-1.
hope so. We can only hope.
Fortunately. So that's it, Abby. Another preview done. We're going to be here on Sunday. There, that whole end, that's where all the Arsenal fans will be.
Be here,
Fancy coming down?
No, I'm good. I'll be in the studio for the watch along. No, I'd rather have the United City derby.
Well, listen, thank you very much to everybody here at Watford Football Club for letting us come in today. Really appreciate it. And great to see you again, Abby.
Yeah, great to be back, guys. And I look forward to seeing you again on Sunday.